Morning and welcome, Patriot Radio News Hour. Joe and Jason on this Thursday. I hope all of you are doing well out there, trying to have a great day. It is the day after Jay Powell, the Federal Reserve, as expected, leaving interest rates unchanged yesterday. But wow, there was a lot to unpack. Yeah, believe it or not, he mentioned the word transitory again. They raised their inflation forecast. They lowered their GDP forecast and said they're still going to cut rates. I mean, it was really, if you think about it, it was a head scratcher, but at the same time, exactly what you would expect. Our toll-free number, 800-951-0592. The website at allamericangold.com. And, man, it's so obvious why you need to have more gold and silver put away if you've never done it. And it's interesting, because like I said, I've been doing this now, 22 years? It's a long time. I've been doing this show for 22 years. And it's amazing the evolution of not only our financial system, right? Fiat money, a central bank system. This is how it works. And we were talking about it, 22 plus years ago. Gold was $300. It was a barbaric relic, a dead asset, right? Why would anybody want to own gold? To today, I don't run into anybody that scoffs or laughs or what is that? Why do you do that, right? Everybody wants to talk about it. They want to either they know they should buy it, want to know how to buy it, what should they do? And the funny part is every crisis brings more people to the table. Like I said, I probably went from, and when I first started, 1 in, 20, 30 people even thought that maybe buying gold maybe was an idea. Most of the people thought, God, why would you do this? Why would you leave your career where you've had a lot of success and come in and sell gold? And the realities are, I knew it then. And the great central bank experiment, I don't know why we keep falling for it. We've had fiat money, paper money, going back. China invented it. Yeah, so, right? Maybe we should have realized, oh my gosh, maybe that was a bad idea. It's China and Russia's fault. Well, they all go to zero every single time. Well, Joe, there's got to be an exception. No, there is no exceptions, none. And I'll give the bankers some credit because they're very powerful. They get all of their friends elected and put into office and keeps them in there. I think we're up to 12, maybe 15 members of Congress total are thinking now it's time to get rid of the central bank and its idiotic policies. But, there's 435 of them, so we got a ways to go. And what I heard from Jay Powell yesterday, what I heard from Donald Trump today, by the way, Donald Trump not real happy about the Federal Reserve telling him, you better do the right thing. cut those rates. We got tanks back in Gaza, right? The Russian-Ukraine war, I guess that's not ending. Iran is on the clock. The Houthis, they don't care. They just keep throwing bombs out there. Yeah. And everything continues to cost more and more. You know it. I know it. And it's going to be funny. It's going to be interesting. For those of you that haven't pulled the trigger yet, what is it going to do, right? What crisis? What you're going to do it after the next crisis, right? You're going to wait for gold to be $4,000, $5,000. You need to take action. Well, I just want to say, what are the terrorists going to do? What is the war going to do? I want more time. I get it. You don't want to believe it. I don't want to believe it. Right? You don't want to believe that Wall Street's going to go down 20, 30, 40, 50%. No one wants to believe that. Heck, you don't want to believe that the money in the bank isn't yours? That somehow the FDIC is going to save everybody? Right? And they got a whopping 1% of deposits. I mean, come on. It's simple. All fiat money goes to zero. Why? Well, because they just can't help themselves printing and printing and printing and printing. And guess what? Now, Transitory's back. Yeah, we'll be right back. 800-951-0592. Let's take a quick look in at the markets. As promised, the Dow liked it, right? Okay. We're going to cut some rates. Yeah, I mean, even though the data says don't do it, but let's do it anyway. The Dow's up 200 points. I know it's not a lot, but hey, we'll take it, right? The S&P's up 25. The Nasdaq's up 100. The 10-year note down to 4.22, right? So that's better than 4.3, right? 4.22, a little bit lower there. Crude oil is up $1. Of course, probably because the Houthis are like, yeah, whatever. Yeah, people have been trying to conquer Yemen forever. No one's going to be able to do it. Iran's on the clock. Gold, depending on where you look. I got it down 7 at 30.42. But TV will tell you it's up 6 at 30.47. It doesn't matter. I mean, gold isn't going anywhere but higher. It's been as high as 30.55, so we've hit another intraday record high. We had another closing record high. And get ready, right? We're going to say that a lot over the next several years. Silver, same thing, right? It was broke $34. Right now it's down 30 cents, but well off the lows. And again, what are you doing here? Get diversified. If you got money in your bank, I mean, literally, Jay Powell yesterday said to everybody, he didn't say it the way I'm going to say it. Anybody who's got money in the large quantities of money sitting in bank accounts is an idiot. That's essentially what he said. You're an idiot. Why do I say that you're an idiot? Really simply, Jay Powell and his buddies said, hey, inflation's not going lower. It's going higher again, and the Trump tariffs and, blah, blah, blah. Then he said, hold on, it gets better. We're still planning on doing some rate cuts. Wait a minute. So you're devaluing my money. Even though you told me you only want 2%, and you're telling me it's 3% but going higher. And then the little bit of interest I'm going to get in my bank account, you're going to take that away. Wow, what a great plan. I mean, why didn't I think of that? I mean, that's brilliant. Right? These are the guys, they care about you? Come on. And then, you know what he said about the tariffs and the inflation? With that, don't worry. It's going to be transitory. Huh. Boy, I thought, they used that word before, and that really, how did that work out? Right? That didn't work out very well. But here's what he meant. Here's what he meant by it. Yeah, stuff's going to go up, okay? But once it goes up, hopefully it won't go up anymore, and then we'll call it transitory. Notice how he didn't say anything about it going back down. No. And here was what was even more amazing. This is, again, when you have people that have no real knowledge of how the real working man or the working family has to deal with. You get idiotic statements that we got yesterday. Somebody asked him, hey, America's upset. We go to the grocery store and everything costs so much. You know what he said? Oh, well, grocery store inflation, it's not that bad. It's not as bad as it used to be. See, they're upset because the prices went way up and they're not going to come down. But here's the good thing. We're hoping that they'll just go up at a slower pace from here on out. See, so therefore it's better, Jason. It's incredible. See, everything's fine. Don't worry about grocery store prices anymore because you're just upset because the prices went way up, and now, in our opinion, the price increases at the grocery store they're moderating now, right? They're going up slower, but you're just upset from the previous years.
We did have a country at one time where there was no inflation. When we had gold, that was the money. Gold was the money. The government stayed out of your business for the most part, and there was no inflation. In times of war,
quit spreading these conspiracy theory rumors. Stop it.
No inflation.
Stop it.
A $20 bought a cow for over 150 years. $20. $20 bought a cow for the late 1700s into the early 1900s. I mean, I think in 1905 you could buy a cow for $20.
You know what's funny? We had one of the greatest jumps. We talk about today, everyone's talking about AI, right? Oh my gosh, and hopefully, right, and you're going to own 3 or 4 robots and stuff. They're going to clean your house and make your breakfast and everything. But do you know the first real big industrial revolution occurred on the gold standard with no inflation? And we invented more great inventions that the world had ever seen. And I don't care what it was, from automobiles to ships, military, farming, you name it, all happened. Why? Well, guess what? Because the government let you have it all. There's no income tax. You heard me. Hey, there's no Social Security or Medicare or Medicaid or any of that other stuff. We didn't need it. How did it go away? Oh, yeah, that's right. The central bankers took over. You know where the income tax came from? Yeah, the Central Bank Act of 1913. But transitory's back, so don't worry. Things are going to get expensive, but then, you know what? Hopefully they won't get more expensive. That's what transitory to them means now. Doesn't mean, it's going to go up and go back down. No. That's not what it meant. He says there's uncertainty. They lowered the GDP forecast for the year from 2.1 to 1.7. So GDP growth, everyone's seeing it slowing down and whatnot. We heard from Darden Restaurants today, right? That's your Olive Garden, I think Lone Star Steakhouse and Longhorn Steakhouse, right? Earnings less than expected, traffic falling more than expected, right? This is a theme that we've been hearing. So General Mills, they came out and said, Jason, people aren't buying the snacks. They're saying, hey, you know what? They're buying the core stuff, but they're passing on the snacks and the good, the extras at the grocery store. So I would say this: the one thing that probably the Fed got right is the economy is slowing. But this is why I said this is why they're saying we're going to cut rates, even though inflation is here. And if they have a GDP of 1.7 and inflation's 3, and I'm being nice at 3, doesn't that actually mean we're shrinking by 1.3%? I don't know, Jason. Check. I mean, isn't that how that math works?
Right. And that's if they're even calculating the inflation rate. Right. Remember, the inflation's, for people that don't, that are listen just once in a while. We've said many times, back in the 70s and early 80s inflation, they came out of that and decided to recalculate it. And recalculating means they dropped it by 50%. So when they say they have 3% inflation going on in America today, that's 6%. 4% is 8%, 5% is 10%. And it's interesting, as we so-called had 2% inflation these bunch of years since some of our economic crises in the early 2000s. They say that we've had this 2% inflation thing going on. Well, the money creation's been 5%. So 2.5 is 5%. We've had 5% inflation every year this entire century. And in the last few years, it's grown and it's gotten more out of control because of enormous printing that went on in 2008 to 2010, and now the enormous printing that went on after COVID. Huge monies, right, Joe? Huge amount of money. If you look at the $29 trillion from back in 2008, that's finally been admitted to in a FOIA request, and then the untold trillions, doubling the money supply with the so-called COVID emergency, right? It's gosh darn this pandemic, which let's double the money. Let's just double the circulating money. That's why everything costs. If you're listening, that's why everything costs more the last couple of years. They doubled the money supply. They can't stop printing. Period. They just can't. Why? Well, that's how their system works. Right? Why did the stock market go to 40,000? Well, because they printed the crap out of the money. That's why. That's how it's supposed to work. Why is a house? So think about it. We had existing home sales, which, by the way, was a decent number today. I mean, we're still down year over year, but it was better than January's number until they revise it. I hate to say that, but that's probably what's going to happen. But $400,000, the highest February existing home price ever. Right? What's the new home? $450,000. Right? And listen, those are starter stuff. You guys know that. Now, maybe somewhere, maybe in the Midwest, it's a little different. But in Colorado, Arizona, come on. Finding a house for $400,000, you're like, okay, I'm not anywhere close to Scottsdale, right? I'm so far out of town, or I'm in a neighborhood that, let's just call it not the best one. That's what you're getting. That's what you're getting. Donald Trump
took to social media, the Fed would be much better off cutting rates as U.S. tariffs start to transition their way into the economy. Do the right thing. Uh-oh. Was that Spike Lee? Was that do the right thing? Right.
That's right.
Do the right thing. April 2nd is Liberation Day in America. Okay, so what is he talking about? Obviously, he's talking about the next round of tariffs. And I said this yesterday. I'll repeat it again today. Get ready for numbers that a lot of people weren't prepared to see. Right now, people say, I'll be 25% on this or that. There's going to be a lot of things, I'm being told, that are going to be 50% or more. Just be prepared. Like I said, gold is going higher. Get in. Get in before the rush comes. Because when the crash happens and all of this kind of breaks down, right? Then we're going to have those premiums back where they were. You're going to have to wait, right? Be ready. Be prepared. We've got another opportunity. Listen, they're few and far between, but we got one coming next. 800-951-0592. Are you watching? Did you see Tim Walz celebrating Tesla stock getting hammered? Right? I'm like, what is going on? And no offense. Maybe he is happy about it. You shouldn't celebrate it. Do you know that every pension fund in the world, including every state in America, owns Tesla stock? Everyone. Everyone. Oh, they employ Americans? I don't know. Should we celebrate? You may not like Elon Musk, but you want to celebrate? Listen, my wife showed me this video of this guy walking up to a Tesla, putting his hand down his backside, defecating in his hand, and smearing it on a Tesla. What?
You must have grew up with chimpanzees.
Right. I'm like, right, you've seen it. You've seen the fire bombs. And I mean, people have literally lost their minds.
I guess you got to get that guy a cage. That's incredible. No, I agree with you, Joe. Totally. Totally.
Let me give you the number. 800-951-0592. How do you really think this is going to work? By the way, it's bad enough every bank seemingly now in the entire world's raising their gold forecast again, their silver forecast again. Have you seen copper back above 10,000 a ton? $10,046 a ton. And now, just when, you know what, we know London, right, their warehouses, they're out of gold, they're out of silver. Now they're saying, hey, we don't even know how much they have left. Where have we heard this story? All of it is leaving. This round, they're calling it cross-regional repricing. Well, that's a really fancy word for it's more expensive.
Wow.
Right. Go figure. Cargoes are coming to the U.S., leaving everywhere else in shortfall. buyer sentiment is extremely strong. And we're getting ready to, listen, the peak between copper futures in London and New York now, there's a difference of over $1,200 a ton. And it's just incredible what is going to happen. I don't think people are really prepared for April 2nd. You don't understand what's going to happen. Okay, I'm going to tell you. I'm going to give you a little preview. Remember COVID and inflation and it's just it's a supply chain problem. Right? Remember that one? That's when they started Transitory on that. Right? It's a supply chain problem. Get ready. We're going to have a supply chain problem.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, that's what we're going to have.
COVID was.
Listen,
COVID was such a great excuse, wasn't it, Joe? Wasn't COVID such a great excuse for the economic chaos that was going to happen without COVID? Without COVID, just so you guys know out there, all the market chaos and all that inflation was going to happen. It was, and I'm not saying that COVID was created just for for economics, but man, it was, right, Joe? A copper penny, 1982 and older, now has 3 cents worth of copper in it again.
Yeah.
A zinc penny, the crappy zinc pennies that we use, has 0.77 cents of zinc. $10 of zinc pennies has $7.70 worth of zinc. The zinc penny is going to have more zinc value than the penny, Joe. Think about how inflated that is. We've almost got a full cent worth of zinc in a zinc penny. Right?
The copper penny is going to be worth 4 cents. I'm just telling you.
Yep.
Maybe 5.
82 and older.
By the way, I don't mean to laugh, but it's just, remember how Walmart was like, no, we're going to make the Chinese pay for this stuff. And then the Chinese government told Walmart, hey, why don't you come in for a little meeting? Today, Costco demanding price cuts from Chinese suppliers as U.S. tariffs take hold, along with Walmart trying to get suppliers to absorb at least some of the hit.
That's right. That was so here's the thing. The thing about Trump, and I'm not a Trump fan, the idea is, will China blink? Will Canada and Mexico blink? Is there margin there to keep sending their stuff? Hey, are they, if you do a 25%, let's say a 20% tariff on China, and they have, 25% margin on an average product, will China take 10% of their margin to keep sending stuff and let the sellers in the United States take a hit and China takes a hit? And I think that's what the tariffs are all about, Joe. Trump standing up and deciding, hey, let's see if these guys will bring, we're all going to have this inflation. Let's see how skinny we can all get, right? And I have a feeling China's going to say, no, we want our margin. Yeah. I think that's where we're going to be for at least the next 6 months to a year if this continues.
Costco CEO Gary Millerchip said that tariffs are going to raise costs at Costco. This would not be a positive outcome. That was his comments today, as now Costco is trying to pressure China into at least absorbing some of this cost. Jason, and this is something where, see, we gave it all away. Understand, let's go back to the 90s, NAFTA and GATT, free trade. Remember free trade? Oh, man. It was such a great thing. I mean, even the idiotic unions. Yes, we got it. Free trade's going to be great. Look at all the crap we can sell the Chinese. See, what they didn't realize was that was never the goal. The goal was, this is one way we can print a lot of money and buy an extra 10, 15 years before people figure it out. And all of a sudden, 20 years later, the jobs we didn't want, apparently we want them back now. Patriot Radio News Hour, big special coming up next. 800-951-0592. You know, we've been in business. What is this? I got to think you're 29. So I've been here 22, but this is 29 years Patriot has been here. And over that time, we got a lot of customers. Heck, we got a lot of people that weren't our customers, but whoever they bought their gold, they're gone, right? And I never know what's going to come in the door next. Just don't know. Yesterday, I had a guy come in, and years ago, not from us, but years ago, he had bought 12 $20 Liberties, 12 $20 St. Gaudens, and 12 American Gold Eagles. I was like, God, that's odd. He goes, well, yeah, you know, I just figured I'd buy the same amount of each. And he had an even number of kids. And he's like, you know, I thought I was, you know, going to give it to the kids and it would just be equal. I'm like, okay, you know, sure, that makes sense. Why not, right? Well, guess what? Kids ain't getting it, Jason. The kids aren't getting it. They need the money. And they decided to sell it yesterday. So today, you get to take advantage. So like I said, we have gold sitting here at $3,042, right? $3,040 and 50 cents right now. So it's around $3,041. All of them can be had for $31.50. Just to give you a ballpark idea, if I didn't have those today, right, the guy wouldn't have walked in $75 higher. And listen, I got to telling you, gold's going a lot higher very soon. Jump on this price. Take advantage of it. I don't care. You can get one gold. You can buy one of each. You can buy all the Saints. You can buy all the Liberty. You can buy all the gold. Whatever you want. $31.50. You get to pick $20 Liberties, $20 Saints, 1 ounce American Gold Eagles. It is up to you at 800-951-0592. Muhammad El Arian. By the way, you may be like, who? Oh, this guy's big time. If you watch the stock channels at all, this guy is on TV every week. It has been in the 20-some-odd years that I've been here. He used to run PIMCO. What's that, you say? Well, it was the largest bond trading house in the world. The guy knows his stuff. I think the gold issue is really important. You heard me argue that people cannot escape the dollar as a reserve currency. Right? That's what they wanted to believe. But guess what now? Muhammad El Arian says, but you know what? They can start doing 2 things. 1, building pipes around the dollar. And 2, changing the asset allocation to include other things. Gold is the other thing. This should be a flashing yellow in Washington. That if gold continues to go up, And it's broken down all its historical correlations. There's something going on about the dollar internationally, and that's something they have to take extremely seriously. What is he talking about? This is what we're trying to get to you, because I get it. Right now, here in America, like Jason said, once we broke 3,000, we've gotten busier. There's no doubt, right? People are starting, okay, I can't wait anymore. I thought it was going to be, this flash in the pan thing or whatever, go up, going to come back down. No. What Muhammad El-Arian is telling you, what I'm telling you, is this is what everybody is doing. And I'm talking about huge money. I'm not talking about a guy, I'm going to do $1 million in gold. Big deal. Big deal. We do $1 million orders. Big deal. Countries, sovereign wealth funds, huge banking institutions, hedge funds, all over the world. They don't care about the price of gold. They don't care that it's 3,000. They don't care the dollar's up today. They're laughing. Whatever. We are going to hold less dollars, period. We are going to hold less fiat money, period. Guess what? Here in the U.S., we got to use fiat money. That's how it works. Get your gold and silver put away. These prices, they're unbelievable how good these prices are. $31.50 gets you any one of the 1 ounce U.S. minted coins. The Liberty, the Saint, the Gold Eagle. 800-951-0592. 800-951-0592. Patriot Radio News Hour. Joe and Jason wrapping up this Thursday. And I'm literally in disbelief. I don't know why, but I'm in disbelief after the Fed meeting yesterday, dusting off the word transitory. It's not transitory. I wish it was. But we already know. How do we know? Well, we know because we've been through this before. Muhammad El-Arian. The world doesn't care. What does he mean? Hey, they know they got to have dollars. But they're going as fast as they can to protect themselves. From what? What? What are they protecting themselves from? Have you figured it out yet? I don't think you have. Right? Free trade was not about free trade. One, it was about banks. J.P. Morgan wanted to get into China. That's what it was about, right? And all these other countries. Plus, they knew that'll get it. We can do 10, 20 years of money printing and tell them there's no inflation. Matter of fact, we'll tell them they don't want those jobs. Yeah. Well, guess what? Nothing's cheaper anymore. There's nowhere to go to make it cheaper. And now we want the jobs back. Right? We want it back. Here's the funny thing. We don't even have, I wish we did. It's not like we've got all these manufacturing plants sitting here empty, waiting for people to come in. No, that doesn't. You may get a story here or there. So, hey, I'm going to move here, I'm going to move there. But it's not happening the way they want you to believe on TV. That's fantasy land. We're going to slap 25% tariffs on, and magically next week all the jobs are going to be here in America. Doesn't work that way. The Fed knows it. Mohammed El-Arian knows it. All the countries of the world know it. The question is, for you out there, especially, you know what? I got customers, they've been buying. You know what? I have customers that literally are buying from me and they were buying from me when I first started. They're still doing it. And by the way, they love it. But for you that haven't done it yet, what are you waiting for? Right? We have half of our elected officials cheering that Tesla stock's getting hammered. Right? How many of you think about it? Tesla's in every 401k, every IRA, every pension, everywhere. People literally, I've never seen it, just going and blowing up cars, defecating on their hands and smearing it. I mean, yeah. Uh-oh. Is Gold actually finished positive today? Probably, yeah. Down 5, 30-45. Run to the phone, 800-951-0592. Jason and I, we're going to come right back with the half-empty cup.